lay this out because I think it's important, and I know I'm just shouting into the vapor. I get it. But so I'm at the store, I'm eating lunch, and I asked this kid what time it is, and he's hugging a blanket, and it's raining like hell outside. So I know he's probably sleeping somewhere nearby outside, right? A lot of people spend in the parking garage, or they come up top for warmth and stuff. And I have no conflicts here, right? I'm trying to see in this for all sides. I've lost people in this thing. You know, my brother died of the same situation that's killing the 17 to 50,000 people that are sitting outside, sleeping outdoors right now. Trashy conditions in tents. And I've tried to wrap my hands around, all right, what the hell can I do? What can be done? And the government, our local government, is collecting federal and local and state taxes to keep these people homeless. And the people in charge are getting paid exorbitant fees, charging huge salaries, and most of the money, that's where it goes, right? We're talking $1 billion in Seattle, right? And that's not $1 billion overall. It's like $1 billion spent almost per year. So this business doesn't want to, the business model is to keep the business running, right? But there's people's lives that are impacted. Now, there's a huge social crack in our current situation in the United States, right? This whole Sue Happy, lawyer-ridden, afraid to say anything, afraid to spank your kids, all this shit that it's come over in the last 20 years, right? It's disgusting, right? So, I don't know if the word is afraid to do it, but there's be so many people telling you why they can't help. This is why you can't help you. Well then shit, I mean, why'd I even come to you? That's kind of my thought when I hear, this is when I can't help you. So, I have a solution. It's a pretty simple solution. It's just the government will not allow it. And it's sad. First of all, churches need to open their doors. That's number one. Start, and just like albergues and hostels in Europe, 7, 8 o'clock at night, they can come in, set up an area, move the pews, or some of the pews, right? Blankets rolled up, etc. Volunteers, food, warm showers. And then at 7 a.m., you gotta go, and so at least they have a place to stay. I mean, that's what churches used to be about. And I know there's we got programs and there's places they can go as long as they don't come here. And that's what is really disappointing as far as churches are concerned. I've been to a lot of churches all over the country and in Europe, right? In the hundreds. And they're empty. They're empty. And it's like, why are you empty? Why aren't you helping these people? And, I know there's food kitchens and there's programs and drugs and there's safety issues and all that stuff, right? But there has to be some kind of good Samaritan situation that's going to pull you from some, harsh consequences of trying to deal with it. But the government is in the way. They're in the way. They want to, and it's so sad because you get elected and then, it just seems as though grifters start running it, and it's all about them and putting money in their pockets and hanging out with their friends. They have absolutely no idea because it's not them. They don't give a shit. They don't care about any of them. I mean, the borders are all open and the borders are bringing in fentanyl, which is making more kids. We're just experimenting like we did as when we were kids. And then they get caught into something they can't get out of. This fentanyl is terrible stuff. There was a Connex with a ship that had 348,000 pounds of fentanyl from China. That is a biological weapon, not the first one that they've inflicted upon us. And there's traders in the United States that want to keep the border open so it continues. There's this psycho mentality that population control is needed because of global warming. It basically is, it's okay if they get to live their lives, but the people spouting that shit, all right, well, let's euthanize you, at least we can help. Or let's have a poor person take your fucking place, or something like that. Oh, no. I'm virtue signaling. I tell everyone else, you know, and basically that's kind of what I'm doing here, but I'm just a little more heated. No, actually, so if you were to take a 20, 30 acre plot, right, and you were to take pole barns, just like the Amish make, set up huge pole barns, load them too high with Connexes in a U shape inside, put a big wood stove there, have restrooms that are public, you know, that you shared restrooms, shared eating areas, right? And then you could charge $100, $200, $300 a month. That's it, no more, right? If fire in there inside the barn would keep everything warm. A community area, they're, you know, those Amish barns are pretty big, and you can make a big one to fit the U shape I'm talking about. Have a step stairs up to your Connex, and you open up a front door, and it has a window in it, and the backside has slits going around the barn, so it brings window in, light in from the back. You could have wedge down beds that when they fold up become desks and TVs, and they're damn big. Even a half a size one for a single man is an easy enough room to live, stay warm, and at least have a place to go, right? Now the drug people, those people that are so affected by drug, they're mentally ill, they need more than that. But most people that are just on the cusp just need a break, you know? Can you imagine 100, maybe 150, 200 bucks a month for rent, and you could stay in someplace warm? Now, that's it. And if you had a $16 an hour job, basically you could live your life on 16 bucks an hour just to get you started, right? And then hopefully you move up. But the point is, as soon as I built a big barn like that, or 10 big barns like that with 100 different Connexes and U shapes and all those great ideas, government would come in and say, hey, where's your permits? We want our tens of thousands. And they would stop you at every aspect, every spot. They would say, no, you can't have the planning commissioner. All those guys would be on your ass for their cut, because they don't want to solve this problem. They don't. They want it to get worse. These are traitors to the United States. Not all of them. But when I was just seeing this kid, he was a homeless kid, right? And I just felt sick. I mean, he's about as old as my son, you know. He's outdoors. He's probably a little smart ass when he's a kid, you know, thought he knew it all like we all did. But they're 15-year-olds in 22-year-olds' body. The school system has failed them. It's a terrible situation. Personal finance, they're, you know, this $100 cell phone. I mean, shit, you get a $1,000 cell phone with a $100 a month payment, and everyone's got one of those, right? If we lost that cell phone and bought a Connex in my barn, fuck, you'd have and then have like a security team, you know, so you'd have to be somehow a biblical type security team, because I'd hate it to turn into some kind of concentration camp shit. But that's what it is right now. We are all guards in a concentration camp, and we are walking by people dying on our streets. Look, well, there's a guy right there. He's dead. Just scoop him up. It's like, it's terrible, and it can be fixed. And I'm ashamed of the politicians and the churches and their lack of community that causes this stuff, right? But it is solvable, and it's so sad that, you know, you get some kid, he thinks he owns the world, but you beat his ass, and you set him straight when he's young. You know, hey, there's rules here, and you do that, and you've got at least a grasp of a chance. But set up a system where we can shut these drugs down at the border, drug dogs and all that, you know, and then start, you know, fuck. We have traitors in the White House, fucking senators that are traitor go-alongs. It's so deep and so thick. Man, there's one man that was fixing it and nobody liked because his mean tweets. But we were actually doing pretty good, and I was proud of that son of a bitch when he did the flyby at NASCAR with Air Force One. I mean, every country, red state, every one of us, which is like 90% of the United States, maybe not who the population is, but those places understand the importance of collecting and giving and distributing food, right? And city people think that, a lot of them do anyway, they think that food just grows on a fucking tree, and you're like, Santa Claus brought the food, you know, which is absolutely totally wrong. Well, my homeless rant has just got me pissed because I just felt sick. This kid, I truly, it looked like my son. I mean, he was innocent as my son, and you know, my son's gonna have time to grow up a little bit more and mature and stuff, and it takes guys a little longer, and I get all that. But when you're outdoors and your only friends are junkies, addicts, and people that are gonna use you, your life is temporarily on hold, and it's just a day away and from your death sentence. I pray for these guys, man. It's so fucked up. I'd like to just give up all my time. Fucking say, fuck my job, and then just go apply for an office and just say, just fuck you and fuck you. But I won't.